Recording your guitar at home and having it sound good can be really tricky sometimes. You gotta have a nice speaker cab, you gotta have a nice microphone, and then you gotta play it at a volume that most people will not be okay with. But luckily for me and for you, there's a solution to this problem that faces every guitarist at home. An IR. An IR is an impulse response. Think of it as a snapshot of your favorite speaker cabinet that you can plug into your DAW or into any kind of digital modular pedal that carries IRs. And you can have all these great cabinets in your fingertip. Well, maybe not your fingertip, but you can have it in your computer, and you can have it in a pedal. And Origin Effects must have had a great year, because guess what? They're giving you free IRs, right? Free IRs of these beautiful vintage cabs that they have at their headquarters in England. I mean, it's like this IR pack has Marshalls, has Fender Twins, it has Magnatones, it's got a Fender Brownface. I mean, really beautiful sounding cabs, and they're asking nothing for it. All you gotta do is download it in the link below. Don't worry, I'm here for you. I'm gonna walk you through how easy it is to record guitar direct at home, whether you're using one of the Origin Effects amp pedals, a digital modeler, or even an amplifier. Come on in. So the first thing you got to know is that when you download the IRs and you open up the folder, you're going to see that there's 3 different sample rates here. Now, if you're just throwing it in your DAW, you don't need to worry about that. Your DAW will automatically calibrate it. But if you're using it in a pedal, all these pedals accept different sample rates. So just double check with your pedal, and then all you got to do is upload it the way you would upload any other IR to your pedals. So now you've selected your sample rate, you go in and you select the IR that you want to use, right? So whatever you're using your IR loader. I'm using Bias FX2, I think the Elite version, because it has an IR loader in it. And that's what I'm using to get the IRs from my computer into my DAW so that I can listen to it and audition it. And all you got to do is just upload it. It says import, and you import it, you select the files. Origin Effects did another great thing. They kept things very simple. When you select your amp that you want, they have a choice between bright, dark, and medium. That is ideal. That is exactly what you want. So depending on your guitar or your pedal setting, like it's just, all you have to do is switch between those 3, right? You're not scrolling through 100 different captures. And like they mixed it themselves. So again, you don't have to worry about anything. But let's say you do want to go further. They also have the single mic captures if you want to make custom mixes as well. Once you import all these IRs into your IR loader, now you can start playing. What I have pulled up right now, I have the Revival drive set up as a blackface Fender Twin. Some of you guys know this, some of you guys don't. The Origin Effects amp pedals can function as amps on their own. It's an actual amp in a box. A lot of people say amp in a box, but it means it has to go in front of your amp. These can sit alone. Like they can just sit by themselves. You can plug directly into one of their pedals, and that goes directly into your DAW. And it's good because these pedals model the preamp, the tone stack, the power tubes. It mimics the entire part of the amp, except for the speaker, obviously, which is why they're giving us these IRs now. Okay, sounds a little dry, right? A dry IR, a single IR, is not going to capture a room reflection. It's not going to capture, obviously reverb. So these are things that I always add. I will very rarely play it very dry unless the guitar part calls for it if I'm like recording. But if I'm like playing and jamming or practicing, I'm adding a little bit of reverb. I'm adding actually most of the time room reverb. So first let's add, it's an American Twin style, so let's add some spring reverb from a Strymon Flint. It sounds really good now. But the one thing I always add now is I always add some room reverb because it really just fills it out. It makes the stereo image a little bit wider, and it just makes it sound like you're in the room with an amp. And again, the biggest problem when you're recording direct is sometimes you just don't feel like you're in the room. Add a room, right? Now, almost every DAW has a free room reverb. So if you're using Logic, which I'm using right now, Chroma, it has a literal amp room setting, right? And it's free in it. Right? Now I'm in a room with an amp, right? Now, if you have like a Universal Audio Spark subscription that I use, I mean, I'm recording a lot of stuff, so it makes sense for me. I use the Sound City Studios reverb. And on a lot of these other pedals, if you don't have an Origin Effects pedal, if you're playing through a modeler, add a little room reverb after the IR, and it'll sound just more full. It'll sound just like a real thing, right? So now that we have a little bit of reverb, now we have a little bit of room to work with, now let's kind of figure out what we're going for here. I'm on my twin setting. Maybe it's a little bit dark here, right? If the part called for my neck pickup, but the dark setting is like too mushy, too woofy, just switch to the medium. It's as quick as that, right? Even brighter. Let's say I want to go into a Fender brown face style, like a 1x12. Right now I have a Marshall JTM45 setting on the Revival drive, and I'm going to pull up the 4x12 that they got here and see what that sounds like. Sounds great. Just roll back the volume a little bit. And it's as simple as that. You get the setup on your pedal that you want, you select any IR that you want, because they all sound great, and you're ready to go. What's stopping you? Let's go through some more settings. What about if you're using a digital modeler? Same thing, completely the same thing. You can either load up the IR into the modeler, or you can have it in the DAW like I got it. Right now I'm using a Strymon Iridium on the Chime channel, which is their Vox channel, and I'm going into the Vox style IR, a British Alnico 2x12, and it sounds awesome. So as you can see with these Origin effects pedals, they're literally amps in the pedal. So I'm just going from this guitar into the pedal, back into my computer, and that's it. And then I have the IR in my computer and a little bit of room reverb on, and like, you're ready to go. You're ready to practice. You're ready to track. It sounds good out of the box because the three choices are bright, medium, dark. Like, even a moron like me can figure it out. So I've shown you how to use these actual all analog amp in a box pedals. I've shown you how to use a digital modeler like the Strymon Iridium, but let me show you how to use an amp. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna take this PRS HDRX 20. I'm gonna go out of that into a SUR reactive load, which is a load box, and that's gonna send a signal into my DAW, and that sends me right into the IR that I have loaded up on my computer. The only bad thing about these IRs is that we really have no excuse now to like sound bad while we're playing at home. I mean, the excuse is that our hands aren't good, our playing isn't good, but we can't blame our gear anymore because these IRs do sound so good. It sounds like you're using these vintage cabs. Thanks so much to Origin Effects for sponsoring this video. Thanks so much to them for making these awesome IRs. And if you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up below. Download the IRs. They're free in the link below. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the internet.